monsters, playing with the monsters. They brought me alive without no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. It's a man's hands without an alibi. Showing off, don't wanna have to wait tonight, bets are off, I'm gonna find my way tonight, won't you talk to me, I wanna heal your sorrow, won't you talk to me, we'll make a new tomorrow, won't you talk to me.
I think we're good. I think we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Titan Esports Divinity League. I am Sharpie, and I'm joined here with Rapterror. How are you doing tonight? You ready for some exciting games?
I am. Still just getting a little back into the flow. I'm not used to Mondays, but that's okay. I'm excited for League of Legends, seeing some good League of Legends, and that's all that matters. We got some exciting teams coming up today. I haven't seen either of these teams play, so I am actually really excited to get to see them play.
Yeah, they're going to be really fun to watch. We've got some somewhat iconic players, like we've got Not So Dark hopping in with the AD carry, who's a very well-known AD carry in this league. Billy Willard, Dobbs, What Are You Doing, Step Bro, a bunch of really just fun players to watch, and I'm really excited for this match. And speaking of this match, we're already into draft, and we have all 6 bans already done.
Yeah. I see we got Smolder banned. Obviously, no one wants to really play into Smolder. Either Smolder fails or Smolder just carries the game. So completely understandable going with that. I'm kind of excited to see what RFE kind of starts this off with. And it is blank.
It's gonna be the Vi. So maybe you're not seeing it correctly, but it is the Vi going to be picked here as the first pick. Not too surprising, Vi has a lot of priority in the jungle. She's a good pickup to be able to lock down an AD carry. She's also a high priority jungler next to the Ivern and the Nocturne. Maokai also being up there. So Vi is probably gonna be your premier jungler. And we'll have to see what Conduit rounded out with. Maybe they look for the Brand, which is available. Maybe they look for the Xin Zhao. We'll have to see what they want to go with. But they could just do the Xayah Rakan, which is also very powerful and just a very solid blind pick, especially into the Vi.
Yeah, and there we go. Everything's popping up now. Everything's coming up, Millhouse. Okay, so we do see the Xayah. I will guess then that the next thing is the Rakan, like you said. I think that combo is just always so good together, unless something is really broken that goes with them, like when Kai'Sa was really strong and you did Kai'Sa Rakan. In this case, true. I think that's what it's gonna be. I do like the Vi pick. Oh no, it's actually gonna be Jin Zhao. Okay, so they're gonna match the jungle right off the bat. I think that is good. Will be good once in the target, Vi gets onto the target, can just ult them away with the Jin. The Ashe would be a good pick. Could be flexed. That's always interesting, though I feel like we'll see both AD carry and support this rotation, so I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be support Ashe, at least from what I've been seeing a lot in solo queue. I play around the same. Oh no, it's gonna be a Varus. Okay, so Varus AD carry.
Now, Varus is a weird one. Varus is technically a triple flex. You can put Varus AD carry, you can put a mid. We even saw it in major regions. We saw a Varus top lane as well. So there's a lot of places this Varus could go. The Taliyah is going to change it a little bit because the Taliyah is probably going to be going into that mid lane role, especially with the Vi being picked. So my guess is this is a Varus AD carry to go into the Xayah, and given their comp they have so far, I would not be surprised if this is one of those lethality poke Varuses where you get the Taliyah to catch someone, you get the Vi to catch someone, and you just pick them off with that heavy burst damage that lethality Varus can bring to the table.
Yeah, I think poke Varus is really the best way to go, like you said. Okay, it's gonna be Nautilus for the support. Okay, interesting. I think that's an interesting pick. Really good to get onto the Varus. I still personally prefer the Rakan. Just because the engage is a little bit easier. Also, you have a little bit better disengage, which with a Taliyah and Varus, if you miss that hook and you hit something else, you are in for a bad time. But still, really, I mean, at least the ult is a pretty guaranteed engage, so that will be good. I think Taliyah is going to be doing a lot of heavy work to keep Jhin and Nautilus off of Varus this game, and whoever they run for their mid laner could be a Nazir, something to also help peel it off. But in that case, I would assume that that's on hit Varus. Well, I don't think it's better. I think like if you're doing a lot of peel, that's usually what you're going for with that for the fights. But second phase of bans coming through, support bans coming through from the side of Conduit. So they're definitely trying to focus down the bottom side, make it harder for them to really stop this engage. Trundle, I know, has been very strong recently. It's kind of been flying under the radar for a lot of people. And especially if you're going to be trying to go for a tank top, which is what I'm assuming Conduit's going for, you definitely don't want to have that in the mix. We're on to the second phase of bans here. I will assume Conduit's going to pick top here and give
I'd assume the Udyr. Udyr would be the best pick right here, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what their top laner play is. It could be something like, what else could we even see? Maybe a Gnar if you wanted to have some prio up there. There's a chance we get something, spicy like a Darius if you're feeling really conky, but no, it's going to be a Xerath. So they're going to blind the Xerath. I guess it technically isn't a blind pick because you see the Taliyah, although technically Taliyah could be flexed to support. So it's going to be the potentially blind Xerath mid to go into the Taliyah. We'll have to see how that works out. It's very interesting to pair along a Xin Zhao and a Xayah.
Hear me out. It could be Taliyah jungle and Vi support. I know that sounds weird, but I've
Yorick.
Yeah, Yorick top. Okay, so we have the top laner. But I've seen Vi work at the support role. It's surprisingly good and a little bit underrated, especially in the early levels. It's pretty good into Nautilus. So could be that. Now, I don't see a lot of people do it. I'm probably one of the few people I know that actually does. But okay, so it is going to be Taliyah mid. It's going to be, looks like Blitzcrank support. Okay.
Yep, it is locked in. So it's going to be a hook bot lane, which I'm very excited about. I do favorite slightly. Well, it depends. The early game is definitely going to go to Rocketfellas there with the Blitzcrank and the Varus. But once they get level 6, it should be more in favor of Conduit with the Xayah and the Nautilus because their ults are just a bit more impactful once they get there. So Rocketfellas, they really need to kind of snowball that lead a little bit and get themselves ahead because if Nautilus lands a hook there onto Varus, they can all in him. It's going to be a Tum Kench top into the Yorick. So Tung versus Shovel top lane gaming is going to be not very fun to watch because they're just going to sit there and thump at each other and then regen it all. So
yeah. I also think Conduit set up a very good team fight.
They did.
You're not getting through that. Blitzcrank's hooks are going to be basically useless unless he snakes them perfectly through because they're just going to stand Nautilus, Tom, and Jhin in the front and just body block everything. And Rocketfellas, well, they Taliyah can be pretty good in a fight. Same with Varus. Yorick is not a team fighter. Yorick's team fighting is notoriously not very good. He's very much a split pusher. So they've got to get this early lead. They've got to, I think, prioritize getting the Yorick ahead so he can just start split pushing, keep someone in that side lane to either deal with him or try to get the other 4 of them to just force fights around objectives or just dance around and give him time just to punch right through the side lanes. I think that's really their best approach. I don't see a lot on the side of Conduit that can really match him well. Tom Kench is not, I would say, the greatest split pusher or wave clearer for that matter. And really the only person that can wave clear fast is Xerath or Xayah, and you can't really have them going off to side lane. So
no, one of those E's landing on a Xerath or a Xayah means half your health is gone, and Yorick gets about 500 health back. So good luck side laning against a Yorick here as the game goes late. It's going to be difficult to deal with that, especially when you have the Talia who can just hit that R key and roam over and make any 1v1 in the side lane a 2v1 in about 2 seconds flat.
Yeah. You know what? Also something interesting. I noticed it earlier when I was looking at PBE notes. I did not know this. Blitzcrank's ult currently will destroy the shields on the grubs. So he could also help the Vi clear the grubs quicker. Now, is that a great use of the ultimate? No, but you could. That would be a pretty interesting... I mean, it's got a low cooldown, so I guess it's not really a waste to use the ultimate. It's like, what, a 30-second cooldown on Blitzcrank? I don't play that much Blitzcrank.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I know they've dropped it a lot lately. So it could be a good way for them to get that clearing quickly, which, you know, if you're Rocketfellas, I think this game you need to prioritize the grubs. Like, you need to get that to help Yorick split even harder. If you get all 6, like, it's just, if he's left alone with the turret for more than about 15 seconds, it's gone. It's just going to be completely gone. And then in the late game, anything past 5 seconds, like that's going to be such a priority. So I'm expecting to see a lot of action, I think, in this early game, especially around those grubs and especially around Rift Herald too.
Yeah, lots of action potentially going to be coming through in a lot of these fights once they hit level 6s. Big ultimate there from the Vi, the Talia being able to roam around, and then of course that all-in potential from that Xerath, that lockdown from the Nautilus, the self-peel from the Xayah. There's a lot of action that can be thrown down, and we know just from the history of watching these guys play, they like to scrap and they like to play aggressive. They don't want to sit back and get a win through macro. They want to get a win because I can click my keys and click my mouse better than you can, which is always fun gaming to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's what, you know, so let's go with what we think, and, you know, like our vote on who we think's going to win. I'm gonna start with you. Who do you think has the advantage so far, based on what you've seen of the draft? Who do you give this game to?
It's difficult because it can go both ways. If that Yorick gets even just a slight bit of a lead, it's just game over. Yorick wins it straight up. However, the Xayah can also deal with the Yorick surprisingly well. She has that ability to lock him down, to use that pullback on her E to lock down the Yorick. The one problem is that wall, but she kind of has an auto attack steroid to kind of get out of that ring, like out of the gauntlet, the gulag, or whatever you want to call it, and, you know, be able to hopefully keep herself alive long enough. It's tough to say, but I'm gonna give game 1 over to... I'm gonna give it to Conduit. How about that? I'm gonna give it to Conduit.
All right. I think I would agree. And for me, the reasoning is that I think of split pushing comps as being higher execution. You know, it requires your team to play well, to not force a 4v5 fight and lose it. And I'm always of the belief that the harder the execution the comp is for a victory condition, the significantly less chance it has of winning, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's harder to execute, but I generally believe that, like, hard execute comps don't pay off, like, very often. So I think I agree. I think I'd give this game 1 to Conduit as well, though I would like to see, you know, Yorick get a win. I do love me some Yorick play,
as do I.
Yeah, we'll have to find out, though, as we are loading on in. You know, while we're taking this chance to load in, you know, I also want to give a brief shout out to our sponsor, you know, for the Titan Esports, Pro Comps. For those of you that don't know, they are a cutting-edge tool that helps you improve your league gameplay, especially around drafting, something that a lot of teams I know in these leagues have been using. It gives you champion pool creations for your players, lets them set their tier list for what they prefer, what they feel like they're good with, what they think maybe not as much. Gives you live draft recommendations. So when you're doing your draft, hey, you see Xerath get picked, hey, here's a counter for you right here. Gives you also good ideas for bans, ideas for comps based on what you're picking, and best of all, completely free. I've seen people using it for actually a little bit now. I've had friends outside of this league using it, and they love it. So if you want to get a chance to improve your drafting and your team's drafting and chances in these leagues, give it a shot. Go on down, check them out. It's procomps.gg. See it, 200,000 people have already tried it out and are loving it. So give it a try.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. I think, do we want to do anything with the last minute and a half while we wait for the spectator delay?
I guess we could talk about what we're hoping to see, what you're surprised about the most from the draft. I'm personally surprised that they went with the Talia mid. I guess I see it with all that engage, but it feels just a little bit into Xerath, a little bit rougher. Though I guess they did pick it first, fairly.
Yeah, the Talia is going to be interesting. It is pretty high, relatively high prio in pro leagues as well, so it definitely has some ability to play around with a team, especially because that worked ground gives you so much zone control around objectives and around the lane. And it's also really good against a Xin Zhao who's going to be wanting to dive in. If you can time and play around your worked ground correctly, it can give you a lot of lockdown to keep that Xin Zhao off your Varus, who is a very immobile AD carry. And we'll have to see how that works out for them. For me, I'm surprised about the Yorick. Yes, the Yorick did get some buffs that came through, and Yorick is looking pretty good. But I just don't know if Yorick is good enough for a competitive scene. Although that is yet to be seen because we haven't seen a Yorick in any major region anywhere. So maybe Victini, I don't know how to pronounce that. Victini, we'll go with Victini. Maybe Victini will show us how to play the Yorick in competitive, and if any LCS or LEC definitely needs to be taking notes because they've been having a very questionable gameplay I've been seeing out of them. But if any pros are watching, take notes. Victini's throwing down the Yorick in the top lane. We'll have to see how it works out for him.
Yeah. And, got Primal Ambush Vi. I do like that skin. It's a very pretty looking skin. A lot of these Primal skins, honestly, have been very pretty to look at. And I do like to see them getting some use and some love. Always, I'm tired of seeing the same 3 or 4 skin lines. All right, and we are in game now. Let's see who's gonna take this first one, REF or Conduit. Looks like our RFE is doing something cheesy up here on the top side.
A little bit of cheese from both sides. They're both kind of hovering around in some bushes. Conduit playing a bit more of a defensive one, whereas blue side over there, they're really pushing forward to get some vision onto that red buff, and no one's going to run into each other, but they don't know that.
Yeah. I got some good vision. I'd so far give the advantage to RFE. That is getting the vision control around the red buff will be good. And everyone's just kind of back off, realize they just kind of missed each other.
Yeah, I was a little concerned that the Varus and the Blitzcrank might try to just walk down through mid lane to get back down to that red buff to help leash that, but they didn't. They recalled like they should, and no one gets caught, and we have a regular, I guess we're gonna have a split map because... No, we're having a match jungle, never mind. So they're faking a leash bot side, and the Vi's gonna be soloing the blue buff, and Billy Willard there on the Tomcat is gonna be helping out with that Brambleback.
Yeah. And also, for those that don't know, it's Billy and Dark, and it's Stepbro, and was it Vicity or Panda? It's Panda,
I think
right?
it was Panda, yeah.
Yeah, it's Panda. They're all on the same team together in one of the other leagues. They're just filling in today, so this will be interesting. Seeing some teammates going at it against each other. I think that also usually leads to a little bit of cheekier play, a couple more. Hey, I beat you guys, and get a little bragging rights next time you guys are practicing or playing together. So I will be interested to see where they do
Hook.
this. And we got a hook on the bottom side already. Yipsy gonna grab Panda. Ooh,
Ooh.
getting the hook right back. It's just hook bros today.
Yeah, hooks going down back and forth. Lucky for Ipsy there that Panda wasn't able to pull that Nautilus quite under range of that tower. So save themselves from getting chunked there, because that would have been a big chunk and given Panda and Stepbro a huge lead in that bot side early on, which is exactly what you want if you're a Blitzcrank Varus lane.
Yeah. Oh, another
that's
hook. And this
trouble.
time, yeah, under the turret. It's gonna go down. It's gonna be first blood, but it's gonna be going to Panda. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Messiah getting a couple hits into DXBS. Good start. Honestly, that's the start that we wanted to see from RFE.
Yeah, that's what you need to be. When you're playing up against a Blitzcrank, you want to be really careful about pushing the wave like that. Xayah is going to want to naturally push just because of how her passive works. But you have to be really careful about that, especially as a support where you're positioning around that wave. Because Blitzcrank can just hook it around the edge of that wave and get a kill onto you, right? Where we saw right there. You have to be extra careful, especially up against those towers. If you're Panda boat, you're looking for them to actually push into you. You don't want early prio on the wave to push, because that allows you to get that execution damage. And he did. First blood over to the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, that's always very good to see. You got him. You might say you got him hook, line, and sinker.
There we go.
There we go. I don't think I told you this before we started, but I let my other caster know when contender. I love puns, so you're probably gonna hear a lot of puns today.
I'll see if I can get you up on game. Then we'll see what we can come up with during the cast.
Hey, that's what I love. All right, emotional damage kind of sneaking around into this bush on the bot side. There is Xin Zhao. This is going to be a good counter gank if they catch him here. Hook coming in from Panda onto Yipsy. Glada is coming in too. Oh, this might be Panda dying very quickly. He is going to go down. Yipsy going to pick up the kill there, but the fight continues. Glada getting really low, having to flash out. Step Bro trying to pick him up, and this is going to be kind of poked out. Oh, the Vi is looking. She's going in. Oh, the flash, though, gets him out. Glada is going to fall, but they are going to pick up the Vi in the side lane. Step Bro, can you do it? What are you doing, Step Bro? No! Oh, he goes down. Yipsy is managing to pick up another kill for himself. 3 for 2 on the bottom side, and Conduit's right back in this game.
Yeah, they picked up a bit of a gold lead. It was a well-timed roam from both junglers, because they both needed to kind of get there. As we see a Blitzcrank hook just miss there onto Ipsy. Yeah, anyways, both junglers, they really wanted to get prio over that bot side. First dragon just spawned. The grubs are up there just spawning as well. So you want to maybe look for a quick play to see if you can sneak an early dragon. So they look for the roam. Both the wave state is right there in the middle, so it's a good time to kind of go for it. But what the Xin Zhao doesn't know is that the Vi is also down there in the bush, and the Vi doesn't know the Xin Zhao is coming through the top. So they decide to say, you know what? It's a 3v3. Let's scrap it out, and it's a 2 for 3 trade. Was it? I can't remember what it was actually.
Yeah,
I think it was a 1 for 3 trade. It was a 1 for 3 trade. Yeah, because
Was it? Oh, you're right.
yeah,
It was 1.
Yeah, it was a 1 for 3 trade, and the lead goes over. 2 kills over to the Nautilus, though, isn't exactly what you want to see, but you'll take it. 2 kills on Nautilus is better than no kills at all.
That's true. That's true. And like we were saying in the lobby, RFE prioritizing those grubs. They've got 3 now for themselves, just 2 away from it starting to spawn those little guys. Billy Willard unable to really match it. Like I was saying, Yorick has significantly better wave clear than Tom Kench. So unless Tom Kench starts Wing these waves, not going to really be able to match him. Yorick's always going to have should always have priority onto those grubs. And now game dead even 6.5 minutes in. Looks like RFE is trying to find a play here. There is a word. They haven't spotted it, but they haven't been spotted either. Messiah's coming up too. This is a 4-man dive. It looks like they might be going for on Billy Willard, but Conduit is matching on the bot side. It's going to be the Hex Flash over. They're looking for Step Bro. Are they going to pick him up? It should be pretty easy, but will they all get out with their lives? Glada is going to fall. 1-for-1 trade. Not quite what Conduit was looking for, but they'll take it, and they'll take those plates. And the kill going over to Xayah.
Yeah, the kill going over to Xayah is good, but a little bit of impatience there coming out of Glada. The Nautilus was walking up. You just got to have some patience and let that tank do the tanking. So that the Xin Zhao can actually sit in there and feel more confident to DPS as Blitzcrank lands a little meaningless hook. Anyways, Xin Zhao, we saw in that fight, kind of stepped back and was a little tentative to say, do I really want to commit to this? Then realize my health bar is falling low. I have to commit to this anyways to get the kill. Otherwise, I'm going to give it my life for nothing. Decides to go in, take the kill. But if you're Nautilus, you got to get up in there and just at least land an auto attack. Throw down the ignite or something to just make sure that you're tanking it and can stand on the edge of the wave, stand on the edge of tower range to let the Xin Zhao do his work.
Yeah, that's really the best situation there. And again, good on Stepbro for managing to still pick up the kill and live long enough to do so. We also did see that his teammates, unfortunately, were not able to make anything happen on the top side. Dragon is going to go over to Conduit for the first Dragon of the game. Cloud coming up next. And Vicinity, starting to get these plates, trying to work them down a little bit. Not quite matching what we're seeing on the bot side. Not so dark, and Yipsy managed to get 2 plates off that last play. But still difficult to deal with. Billy Willard really is going to have a hard time dealing with the Maiden, especially because it outranges him. And Vicinity hasn't been really, activating it to make it just wander down the lane alone. He's trying to keep it in control, so that way he doesn't just lose it automatically. I mean, it does, again, have a low cooldown, but it does help you push that wave that much faster, summoning all those ghouls and prepare, just kind of getting that wave to shove a little bit quicker, make it a little bit more difficult for Tom Kench. But Gold still basically dead even. Both teams kind of slowing down the pace a little bit now over the last minute. Everyone just realizing, okay, let's take stock of where we are. What's the next objective? And for both teams, I think the focus is going to be these grubs that are coming up in just about 45 seconds.
Yep, that grub fight is going to be big. We have 3 grubs already over, and so if you're Conduit, you don't want to give over those last ones, especially because you have that Yorick win condition with the split push, who, after this Yorick has caught this wave, is up 20 CS on this Tom Kench. So that's a huge lead over to this keeper of souls, if you will, up there, who's going to be wanting to continue to split push gameplay. Has a plate under their belt as well, but Glada is coming up looking for a roam.
Yeah, trying to find something. We also see Yipsy coming up too. Here comes the Tom Kench going in to the bubble. Vicinity is fighting. Is he going to be able to pick up Billy Willard, though? Billy Willard getting super low. Vicinity is going to fall. Has to flash back because here comes emotional damage, and it is hurting. Can it take down Billy Willard? Fight continues. Not so dark coming up too. The ult from the Xerath coming through. It does miss. They're going to pick up a double kill going over to emotional damage. Will not fall to the Xerath ult, and the Talia ult throwing Yipsy back. Yipsy going to fall, possibly the Blitz hook. Hook, line, and sinker again. Blitzcrank picking up the kill. 2 for 1. And the dive does fail. I mean, the gank does fail overall for the side of Conduit. They're going to try to stop these grubs, but I think they just have to give them over to RFE. And I don't think this could be any better of a start for RFE in terms of neutral objectives. This is exactly what they wanted. But can they manage to get one more? Everyone's trying to get it.
Yep.
Nope, they are going to get the 5th. Can they get the 6th, though? Conduit is coming. Will they risk it for the biscuit? They do not. It does get stolen, so they don't get the double. But now they've got to run. Messiah, probably dead right here, is going to fall. Not so dark, going to pick up that kill, and everyone else walks away. Overall, though, losing 1 grub and just your mid laner.
Look at bot lane.
Yeah, it's just getting shoved in. That's a good point. Vicinity tearing it up right now. This is what we were talking about. Once you've got the 5 grubs, once you've got that split pushing power, and you've got Yorick going, he's already got a full item right here. It's going to be such a pain to deal with him. And look at him just shred those plates. Billy Willard teleporting in, but is going to be locked up by the walls. And overall, I think that's actually a pretty big win for RFE.
Yeah, big win condition boost for RFE there, especially for this Yorick, who's up 30 CS at this point, has that Eclipse completed so that those trades are going to be going even better. Has elected to even go for that, what is that rune called? I keep forgetting what it's called.
Which one? For who?
The, I gotta see if I can click this, if I can grab him. The First Strike, has gone for First Strike, so I want to take a peek and see if it'll tell me, if I can find out just how effective it has been. Has gained 200 gold from it so far, which isn't insanely a lot, but it's still pretty decent for just 12 minutes into the game. And that'll continue to snowball as the game progresses.
Yeah, and something we haven't talked about, speaking of DXBS, It's 20 CS up right now, or about 18, almost 20, up on Messiah. They've both basically stayed in lane outside of when they both roam together. So actually really impressive. The Xerath doing very well here. I know he has better wave clear overall, but you've got to give it to him. That's pretty impressive to still be up over Talia 20 CS. And I think that could be a big factor. Already finished his first item, got the Gunblade coming out, or Hex is a revolver now. I will probably always refer to this as Gunblade. It looks just like it.
It's called Luden's Companion now.
I would have preferred if
Luden's
they just called it Hex
Companion.
Tech Revolver.
That's what it looks like. Or
Yeah,
that
it looks.
the old Hextech Gunblade is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
You might have a fight breaking out down here.
We do. Glada is going to go in, but does get caught by 3. Here they go. Glada is going to go down. He does get the ult off, but not going to matter. Emotional damage picks up the kill, and now they're going for Yipsy. Yipsy going to get knocked up. Airborne, dunked around and bounced housed. Vicinity going to pick up this kill. This turret's getting really low. Dark, you might not want to stay here. Meanwhile, what are you doing? Step Bro is going to chill out in the mid lane. They're going to give a couple plates, but first turret, going to go to Vicinity. And RFE... They thought, Conduit thought they had him dead to rights, but it was RFE the entire time. Now, not so dark. In the W, isn't able to ult out, is going to die. Vicinity going to pick up the kill onto the Zai. I think that was a shutdown. It was 3-0 at the time. And that's going to be a big gold lead there. They're going to get Cloud Drake too. Hexgate is on the board. And RFE jump into a 3K gold lead.
Yeah, big swing of momentum in favor of RFE as they pick up that first tower in the bot lane. A bunch of plates going over to the Yorick. They've canceled the dragon stacking that Conduit was trying to get going for themselves by picking up that Cloud Dragon. And now 3K gold lead. This Varus has survived that early kind of Zaya's potential to, go for that all-in with you pair it with the Nautilus. So now the Varus is able to roam around and do a lot of work. Has that Blade of the Ruined King, so has gone for the DPS build. They're also going to be picking up this Herald, which means even more map control going to be going over to RFE in about, I'd say, in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and also, thank you, Goosenav. I've been told it is Victini, is how you pronounce the name?
Victini, okay.
Victini. So, good to know. Thank you for that, as always. So, Victini making big plays there. His team making big plays there. They get the Herald, they get the Dragon, they get the turret, they get the kills, and it's all coming up RFE right now. But now, what's the next play for them? And more importantly, how can Conduit get back into this game?
Well, if you want to get the win, Victory or Victini, whichever one is going to work for you, you want the victory, and there's nothing teeny or tiny about this guy. He's 2-1-3. He has the most CS in the game, and he's at 2 items already at just 15 minutes. So great work from this Yorick, throwing down that shovel and getting a lot of success out of it so far.
Yeah, Billy Willard hasn't even been able to finish a single item yet. He's just been stacking armor, but Glada is coming in, trying to pick up the Yorick. Yorick gonna have to flash out, gonna get away just fine. Messiah is
here.
on the way. Yeah, they're gonna try to keep the duel, but I don't think they're gonna be able to take him out. Glada is gonna go down. Messiah gonna pick up that kill. Meanwhile, Herald drop mid. They are gonna pick up that turret, and the charge is activated. Here he comes. It's time to download some more RAM, and they download it right into the turret. Turret gonna fall. Xerath ult coming through to try to scatter them, push them back. But that turret's so low, like a hair's breadth's gonna just knock it down. And the light breeze, and RFE continuing to build their lead. Conduit, it feels like they keep trying to make plays, but they just, every time, like RFE just knows where they're at, knows what they're going to do, and is perfectly positioned to counter it.
Panda Boat's looping around.
He is indeed. Oh, the hook just misses. I really thought he'd been picked up right there on that one. But did you see that damage that all those grubs and the little ghouls did?
It's that damage-centric Yorick build where you go Eclipse into Cyrilda. He's going to drop that Maiden of the Mist as well to continue with this push because Xerath can't stick around in the wave anymore. He's probably going to have to teleport up there, either him or the Tom Kench, to just keep this Yorick from taking a third tower for himself. Yorick is incredibly far ahead, so I'm going to take a look at the gold. Yeah, Yorick has almost 8,000 gold, which is basically, Yorick at 8,100 gold. The next highest in the game is 6,500, which is not so dark. So about a 2,000 gold lead over anyone else in the game is Victini. That's right,
yeah,
Victini.
Yeah, Victini.
So,
it's going to be Victoria at this point. He's just quickly building this game up for his team and just taking turret after turret. And outside of the Xerath, it doesn't feel like Conduit has a response. Yes, Xerath's doing good and clearing the wave and kind of poking him back, but I mean, eventually you're just going to run out of mana, even if you're Xerath. And ooh, good attempt at the hook. Goes a little wide. But like they're not able to match how fast he pushes. Xerath walks away for a moment, and like we were saying earlier, Yorick's just gonna just walk up there, tear through the lane. And right now they're all coming down. They do see this dragon came up. They don't want to let RFE start stacking, but there's no one topside. No one's answering Yorick. He's gonna probably get another turret unless Kench or Xerath goes up there. And if one of them does, that sets them in a really bad position for this fight.
Yeah, but at this point, if you're Tom Kench, you still haven't completed an item. Yorick is getting half his components done for the third item and has a 60 CS lead over this Tom Kench, who finally does complete the Frozen Heart. But this is a Yorick who isn't wanting to be throwing down multiple attacks. It's not like this Varus who's going a DPS build. Yorick is going full burst and doesn't really care about the Frozen Heart because all of his damage comes from throwing that E out, that mist, and just thumping you over the head once, then looking for another trade. So as the hook goes just wide.
Yeah, wide yet again. Very close. That bush has not been Panda Boat's friend this game. The dragon is up. It looked like Conduit really had a good positioning on it, but unfortunately backed up. We were a little bit worried. Didn't know where some of the members of RFE were. External damage on the... Oh, emotional damage has been hooked, but... The ult going through onto Glada. Glada cast the ult. Shut down onto emotional damage here. This
Yorick's
fight could be big for them, but yeah, here comes the Yorick. He's looking for Glada. Double kill going over the Xerath. Victini has dropped the ultimate. Gonna try to pick up Billy Willard here. Glada trying to duel him. Billy Willard is really trying to get away. Oh, Messiah is gonna fall too, but Victini does pick up one. Glada gonna die too. It's a double kill for him. Not so dark.
He's in
but
trouble.
you can't fight him. He's too powerful. A triple kill for the Yorick.
It's gonna be a trick. Oh.
No, it's not going to be the Quadra. The shutdown for the Xerath. DXBS, really the big player for Conduit right now, doing so much work in that fight, preventing RFE from getting the fight, like those picks they wanted, preventing this Yorick from finishing what he'd started. And they're going to be on to this dragon, the side of RFE. Unfortunately, Xerath, Nautilus, not the best combo for Conduit to try to take a dragon. And overall,
They're
that fight over...
down for it.
They are running down. You're right. They're trying to get there quick. Everyone is rushing over here. I don't know if they're going to get there in time, though. They do spot it. There is no...
Jin Zhao's here.
There's Jin Zhao. It's going to be a smite duel. Who's going to get it? It is going to go over to the side of RFE, but now can they get out? Messiah trying to run is going to get... No, not. Is going to avoid the knockup. Billy Willard gets hooked to prevent that. Ult coming through from the Xerath. Not so dark. Going to pick up Panda Boat. And they do get out, only costing them the support. Panda Boat sacrifices himself to save his mid laner. But the dragon is going to go to RFE.
Yeah, overall, you take that. You get that second dragon, which is going to be a Hextech dragon. All you have to give up is your Blitzcrank. It did get a little dicey there because Zenja was definitely in range for a steal, but emotional damage does not give his team his namesake and protects the dragon to give themselves a second stack towards that soul condition, which it's a Hex dragon. That's also going to be really nice for this Yorick, rather, who wants to be chunking out people in the side lane, who has finished now that opportunity, which is another assassination item. That EQ combo is going to be hitting like a truck.
Yeah, and also I would like to point out Billy Willard has finally finished his first item, so very good for him there. Unfortunately, with all this armor stacking, not really what he wants to see is matching up with Talia, who's just going to keep throwing Qs and basically doing full damage to him. He has no MR at this moment, and he's got to be careful. He gets pulled back here. Also has no health. It's literally just armor, and I am not sure that's the way to go right now. Billy Willard got to run. Panda Boat is going to punch him, going to knock him up. They're going to try to hook him back. He is going to get hooked out of the W. Messiah taking a bit of time. Still not full build yet, but this is going to be one dead Tom Kench. Messiah picks up the kill. Yipsy had come down up to help, but emotional damage is here to live up to his name. Going to make it hurt for Yipsy. Oh, just barely misses. A good attempt there, but they do pick up one kill, and Yorick is is still pushing on the bottom side. This might be the call to go for the Baron. I think it's going to be once they clear this pink. Yep, they're going to start it up. Victini, meanwhile, just shoving this. Look at how much damage he's doing to it with one Q. Oh, they're actually not going for it. I think something happened.
It's probably a smart call. Messiah did get kind of low, but I would say it's a smart call to just wait it out. You don't have the TP on the Yorick just in case something goes wrong. So just let Yorick continue to do his thing as Panda Boat just keeps whiffing those blind hooks. And that's okay. They're blind hooks, but you got to land one of them at some point.
Okay, I thought Yipsy was going to go over the walls. That's a ballsy play. All right, Billy Willard is now the newest challenger for Victini. Let's see. Can all this armor finally pay off for him? Oh, Messiah's going in looking for Yipsy. Misses all the skill shots, and Yipsy's just going to casually walk away, not even sweating it right there. But just use W. That's all. And I think they're still just jockeying around. They haven't started it yet. They haven't added any more vision, but they're just kind of hovering here. They're trying to hope maybe they can catch someone if they just all stay off the map. But they're going to start backing up. They're going to reset, and they're just going to go back to farming. 3K still lead for RFE.
Yeah, and at this point, Tom Kench is actually going to be feeling pretty comfortable, has stacked up that Frozen Heart, has the plated steel caps done, the Bramble Vest done, and now 2 additional Ruby Crystals in inventory. So you're going to be feeling pretty healthy at this point. You've got over 2,000 health, you've got a fair amount of armor, actually 213 armor, so you're reducing about 70% of the damage. Cyrilda's Grudge is going to be good into that because you get that armor penetration, but it's only about 25%. So the Tom Kench is going to be feeling pretty good in the side lane at this point, just to kind of clear out the waves and neutralize some of the pressure from the Yorick. As we can see, this Tom Kench is actually able to kind of push out the wave a little bit away from the tower.
Yeah, gets it pushed out a little bit. I think Yorick just a little nervous, doesn't see where everyone is at, doesn't want to accidentally get ganked by 4 people, though that would be the perfect call for his team to go for Baron. They're still clearing out vision around it right now. But meanwhile, though, Conduit pushing down the mid lane is looking to maybe get this mid turret. There would be their first turret of this game. I haven't been able to crack any of them yet. Yeah, another hook attempt. Panda Boat, you know, statistically, eventually he has to hit a hook.
He's going to get it at one of these points, and that's going to be the breaking point of the game. I think, you know, once that hook does finally land, these teams are not going to let their player just get picked like that. They're going to all in for the fight. Teleports are going to be thrown down from Billy Willard and Victini, or Victini rather.
He's
still
a
nice trade.
Yeah, he's still just, even with all that armor, it's not enough to block how much damage. The lethality plus the armor pen is so much. There's not even really much health on the side of Billy Willard. So, like, yeah, you're reducing 500 damage to 200 damage, but when you only have 2k health, that's still a tenth of your health every hit. And with how low that cooldown is on the Q.
They're gonna sneak a Baron here when the dragon goes up.
Yeah, Victini does spot them there. This is the call.
They don't know.
Go for yeah, they don't know about it. They're just going to let the dragon go. It is okay. It's only the second dragon of the game for the side of Conduit, but Baron just collapsing right now, falling apart, but I think Conduit might sniff it out. They do sniff it out, but they are not going to be able to steal it with the Xerath ult. And now everyone on the side of RFE is going to back out there. First turret for Conduit is going to go down now. They're finally managing to get one that what they've been pushing so hard for in the mid lane. Finally get to take care of it. But Yorick's still in the split push. I don't think he's even backed in a while. He just waits until someone walks away and is like, okay, turret time. And it's gone.
Yorick is sitting on 3,400 gold right now.
Oh, God. When he backs, it's going to be such a nightmare.
Yorick has 3,200 more gold than anyone else in the game.
Oh, my goodness. He literally has the grudge over people.
And it's going to be Hullbreaker. I'll make it even worse.
Yorick bought an entire Hullbreaker on one back. Didn't have to have any components for it. Still has its serrated dirk as a component for whatever else he wants to build next.
I would just get something that maybe builds some attack speed or something. Just make it so you just whack the turret faster. Yipsy looking for the hook. Oh, does hit Panda Boat with it. Now Panda Boat's going to knock him up into the air. It's just these supports are just taking a lot of damage. Panda Boat is going to die. It's support for support action right now. And everyone's just going to back away from that. Both of those are pretty beefy supports, so it does take a little bit to take them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of those supports have also bought Frozen Hearts. So you have a bit of anti-synergy there between the Tahm Kench and the Nautilus, who, are both sharing that same item. So those passives, if I recall correctly, do not stack. But
Here comes the
Oh.
teleport. Tahm Kench is in. Not So Dark gets the ult down, but Messiah is going to flash out of it. Glada gonna pick up the kill right there. Messiah is down. It might be another 2. DXBS goes unstoppable, takes out emotional damage. They manage to also grab Step Bro, and that's 3-0 in favor of Conduit. Victini's gonna have to run. Not really gonna want to. He's strong, but he's not 1v5 strong right now. And I think RFE just was a little bit too aggressive right there.
A little bit. That's the one mistake you can't make. Yorick is looking to split push and put down that pressure on that inhibitor tower. This basically ruins your entire Baron opportunity. You had like a big lead going for you, but now that lead has shrunk down to only 4k gold again. And the Xerath now has picked up that Rabadon's death cap and now another needlessly large rod, probably to build into... I forget what that item is called, now that I'm thinking about it. And no one else has it in the game either.
Storm Chaser?
No, the other one.
Oh,
Shadow Flame. Shadow Flame.
yeah,
called.
Shadow.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Shadow Flame is going to be coming through as well. So this Xerath has now 6 kills, has 3 items, 3 big items, by the way, completed. As we see a little hook.
Yeah, hooked onto Yipsy. Yipsy gonna have to flash over the wall. The Messiah is ulting in. They have walled off Not So Dark, but no one is there to follow up. He's just going to walk away. Meanwhile, Billy Willard, trying to fight Victini, is really not enjoying this one. Victini just waiting for the aggro to drop. Oh my god, that's such... He just cues it and just knocks it down. I think Conduit really is going to have to give up this give it all up right here. Victini is going to pick up the kill. No, Not So Dark is going to take it. And... he stopped him, but he did take that turret. It's like 2 auto attacks. My goodness.
Man.
Oh.
The Yorick is a menace.
Yeah, and now they've given up all that position they had set up around the dragon. Their vision is gone. They have no control of this area. That's the one ward. That one ward you see is the only ward they have in this area. So, Yipsy flashing over, doesn't know they're here. The hook does miss. Oh, they had it so perfect, but they're still going to pick up Yipsy. Pandaboat going to take it. Not So Dark getting low emotional damage, ulting onto it. Meanwhile, Glada in the back onto Step Bro. Step Bro does go down, but so does Not So Dark. It's 80 carry for 80 carry right now. A shutdown onto Not So Dark. Glada looking for Messiah here. Pandaboat doing everything he can, but it might not be enough. Messiah trying to get out is going to just dodge it. No, he is going to get taken out by the last ult. DXBS goes godlike 7-0 this game. This Xerath has quietly just been keeping Conduit in this game, but the fight doesn't quite go their way. Dragon is almost up, and here comes the Yorick. I don't know. Xerath, this might be a 7-0 Xerath, but I don't think you want to fight these 3 champions together.
Pandaboat.
Yeah, Pandaboat is here looking for the hook. They're going to pick up Billy Willard. Victini going on to DXBS, looking for him. Going to try to lock him up. Not going to be able to. He's going to get out. But Billy Willard probably sacrificing his life for this one. He's going to go down. Oh, Pandaboat almost explodes right there. Just a sliver of health. And Victini, no MR on him outside of, I think, a little bit on that hull breaker. So he's taking quite a bit right there. And they're going to have to back up. I think they might have to give this dragon up. There are 3 members to make that 4. I do see Glada coming down. Step Bro, are you going to steal this? Can you do it, Step Bro? Or can emotional damage go over the wall and take it? Is he going to get it? No,
Yorick's
just
teleporting.
Yeah, here comes the Yorick teleport, but down goes emotional damage. Glada goes over the wall, knocks Pandaboat away. There is no one to peel, but Glada is just on his own. Messiah going to pick up that kill here. The rest of Conduit is running for the hills. But they do get the dragon. They put themselves on Soul Point, and they are in a good position to keep RFE busy the next time that comes up in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, this is about as good as a situation as you could ask for. For Conduit, you got that dragon. You have a double soul point kind of stack right here. So Yorick, if you're Yorick now, you can't just be blindly pushing a side wave anymore. And you can for a couple minutes, but once that dragon starts to come back up, you really can't afford to be messing around on a side wave anymore trying to push, because that's a Hex Tech Soul, which is going to be really powerful for someone that has a big hook.
Yeah, huge hook gets picked up, gets bounce house, and Step Bro is gonna pick up the kill. They actually had two down there for a moment trying to deal with Victini. So it's probably just gonna be the name of the game for right now. Just keep everyone busy here. No matter how much armor Billy Willard stacks, it is not enough to deal with the Yorick. But four people
They're
are
all coming
chasing
for
him right now.
Victini.
Yeah, but they're gonna give up the Baron for this yet again, and they're not gonna get him. He's just gonna walk away. Glada's still on the hunt. Glada, you don't want to 1v1 the Yorick. That is going to end in pain. RFE onto the Baron right here. Now, Glada, Victini, he's just going to try to 1v1 him. Oh, not even doing a super large amount, but doesn't really need to. Just needs to buy time. And RFE going to pick up this Baron for completely free. Not even an attempt on it by Conduit to sniff out the Baron.
Conduit has done a good job of keeping control and keeping themselves in the game on the bottom half of those neutral objectives with that dragon. But the top side, they seem to forget about it again and again. That's the second time now that RFE have picked up a Baron with no vision from Conduit on that objective. And now that 4K gold is a 7,000 gold lead. And yes, the Yorick is full build, which means he's not going to be getting any stronger. So they're looking for a fight here, though.
They are looking for a fight here. 5 people coming for this Yorick. That's how much of a menace he is. The Nautilus ult, the Xerath ult. It's finally going to pick him, but EMC gets the kill.
Hook.
Oh, the hook onto Glada. Glada does get the ult, but he's going to get Bounce House. Panda Boat going to take him down. They are looking for it. That goes down. The turret goes down. The vial goes down. Oh, it was beautiful. And the flash doesn't matter. The GA is popped, but I think that's not so dark, not so alive anymore. Goes down. Billy Willard tried to eat him, but picks up Yipsy instead. Another hook, another kill. Messiah grabbing it this time. I think that might be this first game. DXBS has to run back for mana. But instead, they're just going to go up top side. RFE going to pick up this other inhibitor, take down 2 of them. They've cracked the base. And Step Bro, what are you doing? You're too close. Oh,
Man, that's a lot of damage.
that is Xerath. People always underestimate just how much damage Xerath can do. And now the turrets are cracking. Everyone is respawning though. This might be an opportunity. No, it's gone. It's done. That's gonna be it. Glada takes down emotional damage, but RFE takes the first game.
And what a banger of a game. Like, we saw the Yorick get a huge lead in the side lane. Yep, I just checked it out. Victini flame horizoning Billy Willard there in game 1. 303 CS to 193. That's an impressive CS gap there. So the Yorick basically running the side lane, keeping so much control and attention around himself that even though, yes, there at the beginning of that final fight, the Yorick did drop. They had to burn a lot of, like, you had to burn the Xerath ult. You had to burn a bunch of different abilities to go down there and make that happen. I think you burned the Nautilus ult there as well. So once that Blitzcrank hook does go out and Not So Dark flashes and still gets hit by it, the fight's over. You have no ultimates left.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I think definitely Victini was the MVP of this game. Just absolutely a menace, impossible to deal with, constantly dragging people to the side lane, even in managing to surprise me, even and actually showing up in a team fight with that triple kill. So
Yeah,
good job on him and good job on RFE. I'm expecting that Yorick's going to get banned out next game. I cannot imagine that's going to stay around.
Oh, you have to ban Yorick in game 2 at this point. You have to ban it.
Yeah, that'd be troll to not do so. But with that, we're gonna take a short break. We will be right back with game number 2. Don't go anywhere.
was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile. I was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile. Some days there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself, there's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. It might take some time, but I'll be alright. I'm moving on, moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. Moving on, moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. Some days there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself, there's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. It might take some time, but I'll be alright. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You see it through. You see it through. Eh. You see it through. You see it through. We gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. We gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken. The door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You see it through. You see it through. Eh. You see it through. You see it through. We gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife. We gonna live forever, forever. The afterlife.
A pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. Tomorrow feels a year away, like the seconds, the beginning and the end. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. The world is waiting up, the world is waiting half a step beyond our door. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to game number 2, REF versus Conduit. I don't know why I feel like it's easier. Wait, is it REF or RKTF? Have I been saying this wrong the entire time?
I really don't know.
Oh no, it is RFE. Okay, I'm not crazy.
RFE. Okay.
I am not crazy. Okay, but we're back with the draft, and we do see the Yorick ban. Good. I was worried they might not do it, but they did. Good to see. Was a menace, and we get a Mundo to start this out. Oh, okay, that is exciting.
Well, let's see here. I'm looking at, I think we're running the stream a little bit differently. So here's the situation. I'm looking at the stream there in the top left, and the stream we're kind of watching the replay back, I believe, of the draft from the draft low that we got. And so it was not a Mundo first pick. It was a brand first pick.
Oh, you are right. My apologies. We are running it back a little bit. Well,
that makes things complicated for us.
Yeah, that makes it very complicated for us. I'm so sorry for spoiling that for everybody. But we're on to the next couple picks here for RFE. Got the Swain coming through. We've got, looks like, a possible Nocturne here for them, if I am seeing this draft correctly. Yes, it is going to be the Nocturne. Okay, so already big changes coming out from RFE on their side. A little bit less hooking support, more, or at least I'm assuming that's Swain's support. It has really been his big spot right now. More aggressive diving jungler. Interesting. I feel like they're going for more team fight this time.
Yeah, we've got the. It's kind of hard to follow what's going on here, because we have that delay on the stream that we're trying to see what's going on and follow, and it's probably like a 30-second delay or something like that. So.
Yeah,
fun to follow, but we're all in this together to figure out what the draft is. And point is, they're picking champions, and the champions are going to do things that could potentially win them the game.
They are indeed. We are seeing the bans coming through, though. Looks like it's a heavier focus on support. Neither side believing that this Swain or this Amumu is going to be support. They are feeling more like it's going to be jungle. That would surprise me. Brand jungle has been so strong this patch, so
it has.
I would expect that to be where it goes. We'll see, though. Let's see. Well, the bans are through, and the first pick for RFE, I guess it's going to be mid here, and we'll save it for top side, but it's going to be the Nautilus coming through for them. If I have timed this right, yes. Yes, we did. Okay, I think. I don't know. It's all.
Yeah, it's hard. I really don't know what's going on. I'm just
we-
sitting here
we are-
watching the stream.
we are living in the chaos, and that's the fun. You know, chaos is fun.
All I know is when I'm looking at the rerun of the broadcast, Nautilus has officially been picked. It just happened right now. So Nautilus, I can confirm, has been picked. Which means at this point, Braum has been picked, and then your spoiled pick, the Dr. Mundo, has probably been locked in at this point. Which means it's back over to RFE to pick their top laner, which you guys should be figuring out any second, and then we'll catch up to you guys.
Yeah, we will be right there. I'm gonna take a guess that it's been picked already. That you all see it. It's Gwen. It is gonna be Gwen on the top side. So that means with this Nautilus, that's Nautilus support. This is Swain mid against Brand. This is an old matchup. I haven't seen this in a long time.
Yeah, the Swain mid is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays with the Brand. Now, the Brand mid is very interesting. If you feel like you have a little bit of concern about stepping too much into range of this Swain, you can actually pivot the build to do an E max build. So what you want to be doing at that point is you just throw out the Q onto one of the back 3 minions, the caster minions, and then just instantly hit the E button, and that will spread with that conflagration and hit the Swain for as much damage as you can do as soon as you can. And it can actually be a really good zoning kind of build to allow you to have a bit more prio over the wave to use that W, because you're going to be getting bonus damage anyways, because that E is going to bounce to the whole minion wave anyways, and then you just use the W on top of it all to get that bonus damage, because the passive from the W is that if the target is already ablaze, it does more damage. So and that does not scale with how many times you level it. So you could just say that's good enough for me and do the Emax build to try to zone the Swain off the wave so he can't get those pulls quite as often. Either way, we'll have to see what the Brand wants to do with this build. But the Brand mid pivot is very strange to me. I would have expected it to be in the jungle.
Yeah, I would have too. I do think this comp is better though for the side of Conduit. It feels much more cohesive as a comp. It's very tanky. They definitely feel more comfortable putting Billy back on a tank. Hey, last game it didn't go well. It was unfortunate. They had a split pusher. We've got it this time. Let's put him on Mundo. Super well scaling. Can actually do pretty decently at clearing waves with his E and his Q in there. So loading into game right now, but I want to get your take. Which comp, who do you think has it this game? Do you think RFE is going to can't close us out 2-0? Or do you think Conduit's going to be able to make the comeback here?
You know what? I'm a little worried, and I'll tell you why. If I can get myself to... There we go. Got my tool set up. What did we see last game? We saw Victini on a damage-dealing side laner and Billy Willard on a tank. And what do we have again? Victini on a damage-dealing side laner and Billy Willard on a tank. So that's my slight concern. Victini got a huge lead in the side lane, and it did not go well for Billy Willard there on the tank. So hopefully his Mundo performance is a little bit better. It did get banned out in game 1. This time he's got his hands on it. Let's see what he can do with the businessman who definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I think it could definitely go better. He actually can kind of duel this time. I mean, Mundo is surprisingly a good duelist, especially if you hit the Q and the E. It can do quite a bit of damage. He has decent clear. So I will be interested to see how this goes for them here. We are still getting it loaded in right now, folks. We will be in just a moment. But yep, we are ready to go. Here we go. We're going in. Game number 2, Conduit versus RFE. Who's going to take it? I actually think also it's going to be RFE again. Like you said, that whole issue with the top side, but also Panda Boat's still on a hook champion, but this time he's got a guaranteed at least knock up with the ultimate. So he has the ability to guarantee it. I also think that emotional damage on the Nocturne is a very solid pick. He showed really well last game with his aggression, and I think this is a great pick for that, especially later on as Conduit kind of starting out again in a bush. Messiah did spot them all, though. So they should know they're there. No one's going to do anything cheeky. Emotional damage, just going to kind of wander around through the mid lane a little bit. It's gonna be a little
Billy
cheeky
Willard is
here.
throwing down some moves there in the bush.
He is.
Never
Look at
mind.
those.
He's recalling.
Oh, that's okay. It was cool to see for a moment. I do love that
I
Mundo skin.
I didn't know they updated it to make it so that when he does the dance, it plays music now. Has that
Oh,
always
does
been a
it?
thing?
Oh,
Yeah, did you hear that music playing?
I did not. I usually have my volume down or off when I'm doing it because the sound will mess up my ability to speak.
Gotcha. No, it throws down this funky little like I want to say like 70s retro kind of vibe music going on, like corporate retro,
Oh,
or
I like
corporate
that.
disco, I want to say. And he kind of throws that dance, those shoulders back and forth, and he's definitely vibing as Ipsy's hanging out.
Yeah, Ipsy's hanging out. Panda Boat is gonna root him up, but oh my God, Panda's taking so much damage here. I don't think that trade was quite worth it. It's gonna have to burn the pots already. Just slowly, casually walking up, and I think this will be a much slower paced game, at least until level 6. Both junglers really, I mean, Glad can kind of do something pre-6, but Mumu really does want to be a bit tankier. Doesn't have the best ganking lanes. I mean, I guess you could gank Swain, but Brand's going to probably push him in regardless. Oh, Panda does manage to land the hook on the Yipsy. Both AD carries just ignoring each other. Oh, now there they go. Hitting each other now. I was like, they're just ignoring each other for these supports. Supportal combat is a thing. This time, though, it's just supportal dying. As we do see, Glada is coming down for a potential early gank. We'll have it over emotional damage. Nocturne not really great at ganking pre-6. Glada's looking for step bro. Nope, doesn't even need a flash. Calls the bluff from Glada. He's got to walk out just fine. But now they know where this jungler is. They know he's around the bottom side. Emotional damage is going to try to power farm this out. Really wants to hit 6 quickly, but Mumu is spotted. They know he's here. Gotta be careful. Don't want him stealing these objectives, especially blue buff. You don't want him taking that. It'll be annoying early on. But because Glada came down here, is now behind in the jungling department.
Ooh. Well, dodged out there by Not So Dark. The animation cancel the hook and just jump back to safety under the tower. Well played, Ezreal.
Yeah, I guess his name does reference that he can see the future a bit and sees those hooks coming.
Maybe so.
Maybe so indeed. This top side, Victini continuing where he left off from last game, just pushing in Billy Willard, getting about a 7 CS lead right now. Pretty solid. Billy Willard will probably have a bit easier time early on. At least can use the E to poke out, and Gwen's going to need an item or two. But I still think, I do agree. I think it's going to be, the onus is going to be on Conduit to kind of help Billy Willard get through this early game. And already taking a lot of damage in that trade. It is a Mundo, so he will heal up, but it is a little worrying to see already. Goes wide from Panda. Yipsy taking a little damage here. Not so dark going forward. Oh yeah, Glada is here. Victini trying to get a kill here. Is going to pick up the first blood. Meanwhile, Not So Dark is not so long for this world. Is actually going to get out. Panda Boat looking for it. Willing to give up his life. The flash coming out here. Glada losing on that top side too. The teleport coming from Billy Willard. I don't know if they know the Nocturne is here, but already RFE. 2 attempts to make a fight against them right here, and they come out strong. Victini,
He's going to ghost.
Yeah, he is going to ghost. Billy Willard is looking for this kill, but the Shroud is going to save Victini.
Nocturne's going to kill a Mumu here.
I'm not sure if he will get to. And
he will. Here it is.
Here he comes. He's going to pick him up.
Boom.
And it's going to be down. You're right. Emotional damage. Emotional damage comes through and hurts. I'm glad I picks up the kill. And that's going to be Grub's going to go over to the side of RFE. They're just continuing this to dominate in this series.
Not So Dark does have a nice lead bot side on the Ezreal over the Xayah Nautilus lane for now, which is really good for them because Ezreal, I think, especially in this team fight, the way that RFE has to play these fights out, it's going to be pretty easy for Ezreal to fight these because you really only have one threat, the Nocturne rather. Maybe the Nautilus can get an ulti off as well, but typically you're going to be standing far enough back that you're just going to be throwing down those pokes. Swain isn't going to be much of a threat to you. Gwen isn't going to be much of a threat to you. You have more range than the Zaya. So
Oh, Billy.
Ezreal having this lead is going to be really good for him as Billy takes a really bad trade there.
Yeah, that's the problem though. Ezreal might be in a good spot, but if they're
Oh.
really, yeah, if Victini gets as fed as he was last game, it's not gonna matter. Gwen's just gonna run you down. Meanwhile, the hook's coming in from Panda Boat. They are trying to stop this dragon. Glada coming down, DXBS as well. Oh, big stun coming there. Stepbro has to flash over, gets exhausted. Another flash out from Panda Boat. They are going forward, not so dark, trying to get him, but emotional damages here is gonna. I think he blocked that Braum Q. I think they're just gonna let them have this dragon. No need to really throw all the way that lead you got. Just maybe make some trades. Yipsy. Ooh, the Swain W coming through. It does hit Yipsy. Swain is on his way down. He is 6. He could be pretty threatening here if he hits something. Ult gonna come through. Here it comes. The Demon Flare is in. And Yipsy is gonna go down. The flash from Messiah to make sure he gets that kill. Getting a little low. Got to be careful. Don't want to give up too much here. They also need to balance well their positioning. They are getting pretty low. If DXBS manages to get an ult off onto him, this could be really dangerous. Going in, are they going to pick it up? It is going to go over to the side of RFE. They're also going to trade junglers for each other, but RFE coming up big there, takes the dragon and takes a couple kills for themselves too.
Yeah, that's really big there. Well played over to emotional damage to secure. I guess you could, I don't know if that's a steal or not because it went back and forth so much, but regardless, did get the dragon. So that's the first dragon going over to the Nocturne pre-6. This Nocturne doesn't even have the ultimate yet and already has 2 kills and an assist under his belt. So good stuff over here by this jungler. Top lane as well. Gwen, she's got a 10 CS lead up there as well. So things going well for them so far. On top of that, what are you doing, Step Bro? You know what you're doing? You're evening out that CS difference spot side. Well played.
Yeah, keeping that pretty evened up right here. Should actually even out if he hits all of this. The hook coming from Panda Boat. No one really there to follow up. Needs to be careful though. Stepbro doesn't really have any mana, so he isn't gonna be able to really get many feather daggers out. Might be able to get one rotation of them, but Not So Dark has full mana. You do not want to do it. Oh, here comes emotional damage with the ult. He did hit 6. He is going in for DXBS. They are going to try to take him out quick. They are going to get him and a flash out so he doesn't get hooked by Glada. Messiah going to pick up that kill right there. Brand struggling a bit in this mid lane. He is leading in the CS, but it is a Swain. He also has infinite scaling health, which is always terrifying. Now, no matter how much you burn him, if he has infinite health, it's going to be so difficult to deal with. And now, almost 2K gold lead for the side of RFE. Looking very good. Like they're looking to try to close this into a 2-0 game. And they're in a pretty good position so far.
Yeah, Victini is just having a lot of control over the top lane. Oh, we saw that. That was a missed cannon. But yeah, it's been going well overall. The Swain is... I'm going to check the gold. Is down... what is that? About 15 CS, but the gold levels are actually basically the same. It's within 100 gold of each other. So Messiah staying in the game despite Dobbs. I think, is it Dobbs or DXBS? I'm pretty sure it's just Dobbs.
Is it
if
Dobbs?
memory serves correctly. I think it's just Dobbs, but the X, he couldn't go with Dobbs. So put the X in there to replace it. As we see a hook topside.
Yeah, emotional damage does get hooked, does drop the shield to get out of it. The ult coming through from Glada. They're going to pick up 1 kill. Victini looking to pick up another, but doesn't have quite the lead he did last time. Messiah trying to pick up something here, trying to make something happen. Does go on a killing spree, takes 1, and now is getting low. But the rest of RFE is here.
He's healing so much.
He is healing so much. The power of the Swain compels them, and Conduit goes down there. Billy Willard falling, and they're going to back off. They had such a good pick there, but RFE a little bit faster on the rotation. Emotional damage is back up. Blue, 1 grub is still in, so it's not going to be the 6 this time for them. So Dark, Not So Dark is not so I mean, he's decently healthy, but 1 good turn will be bad. 4 going now over to the side of RFE. Can they get the 5th? Can they get the little grubling to spawn? They're going for it. They're going to get it. But now, will they pick up a fight? They've got a lot of low members. Emotional damage, trying to run away. The Braum Q lands. Step Bro, what are you doing in the pit? That's not where you belong, Step Bro. Oh, no. He falls. Not So Dark's going to pick up that kill. Kind of a weird fight there. A lot of will they, won't they, but they decide to eventually.
Yep, Zaya got abandoned right there into the middle of that as the immune is really good. Well played.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
Zaya's stuck there in the pit and just left to die there. So, but they do
Yeah.
get 5 of the grubs, so that's a win. You take that overall.
Yeah, you do take that. Now Victini can just sit in the sideline again and keep Billy Willard from being involved in fights, which is really big. Like, you don't want Mundo involved in fights. Zaya does good, but like isn't the craziest tank shredder, I'd say, and especially into a Mundo who can be CC immune with his passive, makes that a little bit more difficult to really keep him off of you. He's gonna just run you down. So if they can keep him out of the fight, allow Victini to just keep him over there where he has the advantage with that true damage, which Victini is gonna really have no way to counter but building health, which I don't think in the way Gwen works, I don't think is gonna work. Like, is going to be as effective as it would be against other true damage applying champions. Like right here, look at this. Oh my goodness, that damage. Billy Willard trying to take the 1v1 here, but Victini is doing so much. Yep, he does use the ult. 2 ults are down. The needles are flying. Both of them going to back up. Technically, Billy Willard comes out ahead with that health, but Victini is still doing work right there. Doesn't even have a full item yet and is shredding. Now the dragon is up on the bot side. The rest of Conduit and RFE are rotating down here. This is probably going to be a fight for this objective. Panda Boat is not 6 yet. He's the only member of this game not at that level. So there is no Nautilus Ultimate to try and make a pick with. Yep, there it is. He is 6 now. The hook comes through. Emotional damage gets it. The ult coming through. They're going to take down Not So Dark. Emotional damage.
Swain's here.
Will he get out? Yep, Swain is here. Emotional damage getting really low. Is going to go down. DXBS going to pick it up. But a kill going over. Yipsy is down. Not So Dark is going to take... He's trying to he's trying to get some damage, but unfortunately, Glada is going to die. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not So Dark is walking back. I don't know why I thought I saw him right there. The name popping up on the screen, getting me. But the fight goes to RFE. They take, I think, 3 kills overall in that one, and do manage to take probably this dragon. I don't think the side of Conduit is going to be able to stop it. They're going to have to walk through Victini if they want it.
Yep, 3 kills go down, and they only have to give up their jungler. So emotional damage did drop. Maybe Dobbs can steal this, though, if you want to look for the angle. Maybe you can. The W over the wall. Do you get it? No.
Nope.
So it was a good attempt, but the Q did fly over the wall, and I saw the dragon go down to 19 health. So it was close.
It was.
But...
and it is going to be Cloud Soul this game, which I think is actually really powerful on Nocturne. And Gwen, they can and Swain, they can just charge straight at you. You're not gonna get away. I think it's honestly the worst dragon if you're the side of Conduit for them to start stacking.
Absolutely. Very painful because you have so much outside of that arcane shift on the Ezreal. Your team, all your mobility is basically go in. The Amumu can go in. The Braum, I guess, technically can jump backwards to the Ezreal or whatever, but they really don't have any ability to just, dash or be able to space very well. And so if RFE can pick up some of these Cloud Dragons and just be quicker and quicker in the team fights, it can get very tricky to deal with this ability to just run right at you as they look for another fight here.
They are indeed looking for another fight. The ult from emotional damage. There is nothing shield-wise for Billy Willard. Is he going to go away? He is actually going to manage to get out. The ult saves his life, and now the rest of Conduit is here. RFE may have bitten off more than they can chew. Panda is going to fall. Victini is running for his life. Yipsy looking for maybe a Q there. Not going to find anything. A couple Swain birds flying out there. He did manage to hit a W, but that was a good attempt, but honestly, I don't think chasing the Mundo is always the best strategy. He's just, with the ult, it's just so hard really to make a pick on him, especially when he's that deep into his own lane. And now Herald gonna go over to the side of Conduit, unless Stepbro, no, I'm gonna try to make the steal. It's gonna go over to Conduit. They get their first neutral of the game that isn't a single grub. and it's good for them. They're still keeping this close. It is only a 1,600 gold difference between these two teams.
Yeah, it's still a very close game, and I agree. It was very much like an unwise attempt to dive a Mundo who has the ultimate up, has its Spirit Visage for that bonus heal amplification there on his kit, because that Mundo healing is just a lot. Plus, you know, a Nocturne who only has that experimental hex plate, so not exactly a lot of damage going to be coming out. Plus, a lot of magic resistance there on the Spirit Visage, so that Gwen isn't going to do a lot of damage to you either. Nor is the Nautilus, who basically does all AP. So there's not really much chance of really killing a Mundo there. Maybe your angle was to look to try to force out that ultimate and push him back to try to get some prio over that Herald. But if that was the plan, then why are you diving under tower in the first place? So a bit of a baffling play there, a bit of a baffling call that ends up losing them a kill. It ends up handing over that Herald topside as well and closing that gold gap from a 3,000 lead to about a 1,500. And that's going to get even smaller when they do elect to drop that Herald in a lane.
Exactly. And Panda still had the Ignite. I think if that had gone down, that may have made that fight. That they may have actually been able to pick up that kill. Probably could have turned and made it a 4v4 on the side. But that's all in the past now. We're in the present, and the present is a minute and 40 till Dragon. Cloud Drake would put RFE on Soul Point. Conduit is definitely going to want to try to stop that. I want to start stacking these Cloud Dragons. While we did say they are really good for RFE, for Conduit, they're also, I mean, they're not great, but for Mundo at least, it's really good. Let your Mundo go where he pleases. But he's really the
Mundo
only one.
And Amumu.
Yeah, I guess Mumu too would be good for him to run around. The others on the team, I don't think can take quite as good advantage of it. Brand doesn't really need that much movement speed when he's ulting. Ezreal, I mean, he's Ezreal, and Brahm's really going to use his for disengage. So I think overall it's still a better option for RFE, but Conduit still has good use of it, a good potential use of it, as everyone is setting up for it. Only a minute to go. RFE trying to just make sure that they have vision control for this. The blue buff is there. Messiah could pick it up if he wants. It'd be very annoying to have a Swain with much lower cooldowns. We'll see what they're going. Ooh, they're looking for a cheesy play right here. Messiah's showing. He's trying to bait them.
They're pinging Braum.
They're pinging Braum. Glada going around too. They look like they might be looking for Step Bro. Not So Dark could be also the play here. Messiah is going to hit the E.
There he
the
is.
Ult in for emotional damage. The ult coming out from the Nocturne, and they're going to take him down. Emotional damage manages to pick up the kill just in time for the Dragon. Meanwhile, Billy Willard and Victini are kind of juking it out here. Victini it's not like last game. Doesn't really have the cheesy build that can kind of break through that much armor. Is really going to have to hit those Qs on time. And until he gets that Nashers on, I think he's still going to have a little bit of a difficulty. But the Dragon is started by RFE. Glada could come and try to steal it. Instead, they're going to go for this mid turret and try to get some gold for themselves. Try to shrink the gold lead again. It has ballooned back to about 3,000 gold. The rest of RFE is here. Herald backwards, going forward into it, but it gave the time that RFE needed to kind of push them off it. So only going to get a half turret for it. Not going to get any plates or anything. So RFE coming up big in that play overall.
Yeah, and they're back up to a 3,000 gold lead again. So that, you know, the top lane, I will say, has been a lot more stable for Billy Willard. He did pop that ultimate and that ghost out of Victini as we see a fight.
Yeah, fight going in. Glada trying to pick up Step Bro. Step Bro does flash out, does ult out, but I think Panda is gonna fall. Panda Boat is running, does get the hook. Is he gonna get out? He is.
They can turn this. Swain's here.
Swain is here. They are turning it. Panda does get out, so does Step Bro. All of that for nothing. The Brand ult too, maybe hoping they can pop someone on the side, but everyone's gonna get out clean from RFE. It was a good attempt, but Conduit just, once they get that initial lockdown, once Amumu's used everything, there isn't really a lot of stun potential left. You have like Brand double spam with the Q and maybe Braum Q and ult, but not enough to pick anything. They do get the turret, so they do get something. And RFE actually kind of looking for something up here on the top side, it looks like. Nope, never mind. They're just going to go for farming.
Yeah, not too much for the teams to do at this point. Baron has just now spawned, but it's not going to really mean anything unless you get a pick, just because there's so much teamfight volatility on both these teams. That Brand ultimate there, the Pyroclasm, the Amumu ultimate, that Swain ult, the Gwen ult, there's so many different things that can completely turn a team fight. You don't want to look to just flip a 5v5 because that 5v5 can send the game in either direction, and you don't want to, if you're RFE, you don't want to give Conduit an angle back into this game, and vice versa. If you're Conduit, you can't afford to give RFE a win, like a big win condition by giving them a fight and an opportunity to engage onto you. So no one's going
Yeah.
to be looking for the dragon, the Baron. They're going to be looking for picks, and I think RFE is going to want to play for that 4th soul.
Yeah, speaking of picks, they did find Yipsy, forcing the teleport out from Billy Willard here to come into mid lane. I think the play, really, if you're RFE, is you need to take Brand out at the beginning of the fight. Brand is doing so much damage. He is the big damage dealer right now on this team. This Ezreal kind of been set behind, hasn't gotten the Muramana up yet. So if they can pick him, the fights become a lot easier. But if Brand manages to live, they might have the opportunity. Nocturne? Oh,
I think that may have been a misclick.
I think so. I guess he's trying to scare the Gromp. I mean, if I was Gromp, I'd be scared if Nocturne came flying at me with an ultimate. That's okay. Pretty low cooldown. You already see it's almost at a quarter of its cooldown back already. So not too big of a deal, though. It does give probably about a minute or so for a Conduit to find an opportunity to make a play. But RFE playing pretty safe here.
Yeah, now, you said that you need to get rid of the Brand early on in the fight, which is true. Now, here's the problem. Who does it?
Nocturne.
I mean, it's a Nocturne that built Stride Breaker and Experimental Hexplate. That's not exactly a ton of bursty damage. That's more of that DPS build from the Nocturne, which means Brand is going to have more than enough time to rotate those spells really quickly before that CC comes out.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful. Because Brand is very front-loaded with the damage. If he can get all those abilities out, even if you do die, you've used all your abilities. That can often just be enough to win a fight as it is, especially for a Brand that is up 35 CS and is 3-1-3.
That is true. And the only other option I could think of is that Panda Boat manages to, like, the best option is hoping that he walks too far forward and Panda Boat can hit ult. But, oh, hang on. Not so dark. Not so well positioned right here.
Oh,
no,
they're leaving.
They are leaving. Yipsy is going to get pulled with the root. W is going to come through. Vision of Empire is not going to be enough to get any more damage out. Messiah, almost walks into all 3 of them right there. That would have been dangerous if he'd gotten picked. But there are 4 members here, 4v4, but we do see Billy Willard coming down. Meanwhile, Victini is trying to take this top turret. Is going to get it. So that's going to fall. And the fight breaks out. Glad it gets an ult onto emotional damage. The ult is back up. They're going right for the Brand. They managed to hit the Panda Boat, but it's not going to be enough. Shutdown going over to DXBS. Now the fight is Messiah going to be able to do anything here. Stepbro is going to pick up Glada, but Messiah is going to go down. And here comes the teleport from Victini. Can Victini do anything right here? Is going to have to run. The rest of the team is not here to help him out. Stepbro coming up around the side, though. Ult coming through. Half health already. The exhaust coming through. Victini is going to fall. A shutdown to Billy Willard. And RFE is forced to back out. They took more. They bit off more than they could chew in that fight. We thought that they could do it, but unfortunately, not able to. And Conduit is right back in the game.
I don't know what was going on there in the top lane, but Victini just decides to sit topside and keep pushing the wave when the fight's going down. Does eventually use a teleport, even though they had it the entire time. But by the time the Gwen does show up, the fight's gone. It's over, and you're way out of position. The Gwen does drop as well. That's going to mean the objective goes over. The gold lead is basically nullified. Your push is gone in the bot side. Your dragon stacking condition is delayed for another 5 minutes. And now these tanks here in this Mundo and this Amumu, this Braum, they're starting to really stack out some of that MR. So the Swain and the Gwen are just going to do less and less damage to them either. So it's going to get really tricky in these fights as they go on. The Brand is going to really start to shred through these carries, especially because you have that Amumu over the top, who, remember, has that passive which has more and more damage. If you damage someone, they take more magic damage. Is how it works, if I remember correctly. So.
Yes.
That stacks really well with this Brand, who really likes having that magic penetration. So it's going to get trickier and trickier for the side of RFE as these fights go on, because Victini really misplayed that timing on the engage for the teleport.
Yeah, I think at that point, if you didn't teleport at the beginning of the fight, you need to just keep pushing. Like, at least keep going, get the turret. But now they've shrunk the goal lead to a little under 1,000. Something I also want to bring up is Stepbro isn't even through his second item yet. Granted, Not So Dark has very cheap items, but Panda Boat has been caught out. Has to flash to try to get away. The hook gonna get him out just fine. Victini on the bottom side trying to split here. But yeah, like I was saying, like really to get through those tanks, you need Xayah to be able to get some damage out. She does have the Kraken Slayer, but she doesn't have anything else yet. So isn't really able to put up an effective amount of damage in these fights. And when, you know, once you lose Messiah, once you lose emotional damage, like who's going to be there to really take it? So the Baron is started up. I think Conduit's going to have to run away from this. Yeah, there's not a good idea to stay around right now. It's not don't really have the damage to be able to take this, but mid turret could fall here. RFE is going to get it, but can they get out? Glada looking for a pick here. The hook goes in. Victini gonna die. Not so dark gonna pick up that kill. Meanwhile, the hook. Oh, Panda picks up a beautiful hook. Emotional damage goes forward, and Panda's going to pick up the kill on the Yipsy.
Xayah.
But the Amuma goes forward. Xayah trying to get the E down. Emotional damage going to pick up Glada. Yipsy is going to... Panda Boat is going to go down the side. Billy is buying so much space, but it finally gets shut down by emotional damage. Meanwhile, Messiah falls there on the side to DXBS. And now it's mid and 80 and 80 in jungle. A 3-for-3 fight. And... honestly, not bad. That could have been a lot worse for RFE.
It really could have. It could have gone a lot worse. Now, lucky for them, the fight got kind of split up a little bit so that the Mundo was face tanking for nobody. Yeah, that Mundo is probably going to drop regardless of what happens there, but the Mundo could have been, if the fight was a bit more grouped together, Mundo could have been taking to allow that brand, to allow that Ezreal, I believe it was, I was with the team, to just do and continue to put out that damage. But the Swain zones off those two, the Mundo zones off the other two, and they just kind of split the fight and they both accept their deaths and no one drops beyond that. And that's where we're left for now. But yeah, a very interesting call there. That could have gone very wrong for both teams. They both play it out pretty well there in the fight.
Yeah, and Glada, huge ultimate with that Amumu. I thought, honestly, that was just going to be a wipe for them. So that was just a fantastic ult onto 4 members of RFE. And now, everyone prepping. Dragon up in a minute. This is, again, Soul Point. Conduit has to go for this. This could be another attempt like we saw last game. We could see RFE just give it up, go, hey, it's only second Dragon, second Cloud for them. It doesn't matter. Let's go get the Baron. And that could be pretty dangerous. I mean, if you give Gwen Baron, she could just really split push, really force someone to have to match her. I don't think right now it's Billy. I think he's trying to force Messiah to fight him. Oh, they're just going to secretly start it.
Dragon.
Yeah, they don't even care that the dragon's coming up. They're just gonna do this before it comes up. They want they want their cake and to eat it too. It's falling so fast, no one suspects this. There is the war. Yeah, they've spotted it, but too late. It is gonna go down. RFE sneaks a beautiful Baron and has just enough time to back to get to this dragon. Oh, but here comes emotional damage. That seemed like an unnecessary ult.
I don't know what that call was for. Now, here's the real problem. Dragon's up in 15 seconds, and emotional damage just used the paranoia. So you're not going to have set up for that at all. I think, yeah, you have to give it up. Now, on the plus side, you have the Gwen and the Nautilus top side. They're going to be able to take that tower, which is about 1,000 gold going to go into their pockets. Plus, the Xayah and Nocturne are pushing in the mid wave, so they can potentially take a second tower there as well.
Yeah. Oh,
but we'll have to see.
Messiah's trying to stop them here. He's trying to keep... I think he's going to try to prevent them from backing. If he gives up his life, they might be able to actually break through this. They're going to break another turret. They're going to try to go for this inhibitor. Oh, Messiah's not doing anything. They need to get out of here right now. They are staying way too long. Here comes all of Conduit. Billy Willard looking to maybe pick something up. Does get the Q onto emotional damage. It is shielded. But they're so bunched up right there. Nice ult from Not So Dark. And Victini trying to pick something. DXBS is dominating. Panda is going to go down. Not So Dark going to pick up that kill. 2 members of RFE are going to get out, though. But I think they stayed a little bit too long. But another turret falls on the bottom side. Look at Messiah.
Yeah, Messiah doing it right this time. He sees the fight break down, and instead of like hovering for half the time and then teleporting in once the fight is already over, says, you know what? This fight is over if I TP in or not. It's not going to make a difference. I'm going to take a free 1,300 gold or 1,000 gold, whatever it is, and take the side lane tower, and it works out well. So yeah, they do lose 2 members. That basically negates your Baron push, but you took 4 towers in that push. You got that mid tower, you got all 3 inner towers plus, and in that mid lane inhibitor turret, which gives you an angle to go right into the base if you win any team fights here from now on out.
Yeah, good use of the Baron. Maybe the paranoia was just to give them the give Conduit the false confidence. Hey, we can just take this dragon. They're not going to do anything, but they I mean, they managed to get some kills. They got the dragon, but the gold lead has ballooned. Like you said, they got multiple turrets. They've cracked the base. 4K gold lead right now for the side of RFV. At this point, I mean, that's still a big gold lead. I think most of it is sitting on emotional damage right now, considering where he's at. But Glada, going in onto emotional damage right here. The ult from Not So Dark does go a little wide. Hits Step Bro on the way out. Yipsy looking for something. Victini is here. Yipsy trying to stun up. They're trying to take out emotional damage. The ult coming through. They're going to pick it up. It is going to be a shutdown onto him. The Braum ult coming through as well. Victini getting a nice ult right there. Here comes the Nautilus ult. They're going to pick up one kill. Victini is going to go down. Stepbro going to have to walk away, though. And now Messiah all alone against 3. Came in a little late there, buddy. Is he going to be able to pick up anything on his way out? It is not going to be the case. Panda going back in. A little confusing there. 4 for 1 in favor of Conduit. That was kind of a strange fight. I don't know why RFE decided to come back and kind of hold for that. They should have just left emotional damage to die.
Yeah, in a situation like that, you pop the paranoia and you ult into the very back line and force them to turn around and you tell your team, leave me out of this. Don't come and follow me. Don't do anything. Just get back to your tower and get to safety because I have the most gold on the team if I'm looking correctly. I'm gonna just double check to make sure. Yep.
Step Bro is gonna go down. Not So Dark gonna pick up that kill. Walked way too far forward. I don't know why he thought they wouldn't just push him under the turret.
You can't be that far forward. You're a Xayah. You don't have a lot of range. Ezreal outranges you. The Amumu can just jump on you whenever you want. It's not a good place to be for a half bird woman. And
yeah.
What are you doing? Step Bro finds out the hard way. No pun intended.
What are you doing? You're dying, Step Bro. You're dying. Well, the gold lead has once again shrunk to 1,000. It feels like RFE is a little allergic to large gold leads here. But I do want to bring up something that one of the members of our chat, Kazuha Nakamura, has brought up. Thank you, Kazuha. Why does the Nocturne have tabbies?
That is a very good question.
Like, whose damage are you blocking? I guess Ezreal Q, but this is a very AP heavy team. I feel like Merc Treads, especially to not only reduce the MR, but the tenacity to help with the stuns, would be a lot more useful here. But yeah, good call bringing that up. You know, love when chat finds those things out. Sometimes when you're casting, you just don't get to see everything. Like, kind of like how RFE doesn't see these people sitting in the bush, though they are being more cautious. Messiah, oh, there's the Nocturne. Oh, they are going in onto Billy. Billy all by himself. And Conduit realizes, oh, wait, we thought we baited them, but they baited us. Now Billy trying to run. So much damage, though, to get him. They're not picking him up.
The Amumu.
Huge ult right there. Braum ult comes through as well. The fight is all over the place. Messiah, though, sitting in the middle. Panda Boat going to go down. Emotional damage going to pick up Glada right there. Messiah just in the middle of it. Tanking and tanking and tanking. But eventually, will he go down? The answer is
hitting.
Not
Xayah?
Xayah does manage to hit. They manage to take out the front line. There goes the Mundo. It's just the carries and Braum, but that's a lot of damage still. Down goes the Gwen. It's just a half health Xayah and a half health Swain. And I think they're going to have to give up this dragon there. Again, going for Billy, I don't think is a good idea.
Yeah, they way overcommitted onto that Dr. Mundo, who just completely tanked all their abilities and came out with basically full health still. It was like rather comical to watch. But then again, to be fair, it's a Gwen, it's a Nocturne, it's a Swain, who don't have a lot of burst damage at all. They're just kind of these slower DPS tank melters, almost like AP brawlers, if you will. And if you're a Mundo who has a level 3 ultimate, you have all that healing in there. You have the Spirit Visage as well, which I'm looking at. It has done 3,700 bonus healing from that passive. So,
They spotted him out, but Yipsy has been caught. The teleport is coming through. Step Bro goes down. Not So Dark goes godlike. The teleport came through, but it's not going to be enough. Messiah is about to fall. Panda is about to fall. They get the shutdown on the brand on the side, so that's at least huge. Ezreal goes
still alive.
Yeah, Messiah is still alive. I thought he was dead, but he is somehow still living. He is still healing. Emotional damage is on his way, looking to pick up up a kill here. The healing is done. Messiah should fall soon. He's still
Messiah's still
dead.
alive!
Emotional damage coming through. They're gonna pick up a double kill here from Messiah. I have to see the damage on that tanking. That's insane. Oh, they're looking for Billy.
hook.
Are they gonna pull him? They're gonna hook him. That could be it. That's the game. Victini wasn't even in that fight after killing the carries, and is gonna take one turret. Is gonna take two. Billy isn't able to stop anything. The game is gonna come down to just do a coin flip around Baron, and RFE takes the fight. Such a tragic end for Conduit. Oh, I can't believe it.
That is one of the games of League of Legends of all time.
It was. I thought that fight was gonna go a little bit more back and forth, and then just right there on the back line, Victini finds the brand. They finally get him, and Messiah just heals like I have never seen a Swain heal. Like that must have been at least 4 of his health bars just wiped out, and he continues to heal and heal and heal. I just shocked. That was just so sudden. That I thought this game was going to go on for another 5-6 minutes, at least.
A real mind-boggling way to end the game. Victini again on that split push, but just runs it right down the middle of the game, the middle of the map. Decides to end the game. They get that critical catch onto Mundo, who didn't have that passive backup yet, and stops the TP, and Gwen just ends the game after making that push. But yeah, huge props to the Swain. Somehow staying alive, 1v3, just sitting in there saying, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. And you know what else is trapped with me? A 2-0 win.
It is a 2-0 win. RFE picking up a big win here. I definitely would give Messiah MVP for this game. That Swain was so big and such an important factor in them winning this, especially in that last fight. Just bought 3 people's like priority the entire time, and we saw it in a couple other fights too. But MVP overall of the series, who would you give the MVP to the series to?
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I might give it to Panda Boat, actually. I might give it to Panda Boat. In that last fight in game 1, Panda Boat landed that critical Blitzcrank pull onto Not So Dark in game 1, despite flashing, and still landed it. And in that fight, if I remember correctly, landed 3 Blitzcrank hooks in a row. And then in this one as well, what managed to get the brand was the Nautilus stepping forward and landing that ultimate. Was able to lock down the brand and the Ezreal, keep them both contained to allow the Gwen to run through them with the Nocturne, splitting the fight in half. And the Nautilus just had so many good hooks in that game to just lock down people. So it's debatable, and it's like here's the thing. Like Victini had a fantastic game 1, Messiah had a fantastic game 2, but Panda Boat just played great all throughout.
That's fair. I personally, I would give it to Victini. I think his split game 1, like that was the reason they won, was that Yorick. But I thought he did a really good job in game 2. Minus that one teleport. That one teleport was very questionable. But other than that, split pushing, looking for those flanks in the fight, that last fight there, which honestly could have gone really bad after Stepbro just died right off the bat, managed to find both Not So Dark and DXBS or Dobbs. But that was huge. That was the deciding factor in the game. And then finishing it with the split there. But honestly, I think everyone on this team did fantastic. I think you can make an argument for almost everyone here. And, still a lot to learn. The second game, especially, it wasn't as clean. So there's a lot of learning opportunity. And for Conduit, they put up a good fight. But I think it's definitely going to be a game. These games they're going to look back on and go, okay, what can we improve on from here? This was definitely a rougher game. Rougher series for us, especially that game 1. I think they definitely need to work on dealing with the split pushes. But overall, I thought their team fights were good. I thought they had some good picks, and I thought it was a great series.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. It was cool to see some of these unique picks come out. We saw the brand mid. We saw the Yorick thrown down in the top lane and have a great carry performance on it as well. So a great set of matches, and I hope that everyone in the chat enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed getting to watch and cast it together.
Yeah, it was a fantastic cast. I'm glad I got to cast it with you. This has been absolutely fantastic. But that does it from us for today. We will see you all tomorrow for our next cast. I'll see you all on Wednesday when I'm casting again. I'm very excited for that. Conquerors League has been fantastic so far. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, procomps.gg. Thank you so much to them as well. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Have a good night.
A pair of jeans, a shirt or two. We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. I've got a feeling love will give us what we lack. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. Yeah. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights. The Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights. Tomorrow feels a year away, like the seconds, the beginning and the end. But if in time it's yesterday, your picture's gonna bring it home to me again. The world is waiting up. The world is waiting half a step beyond our door. And if it's not enough, I wanna see the stuff the world has got in store. I wanna take it all in, I'm falling. The cityscape by night, wanna catch in my photos. Where you go, every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures